welcome back to my channel, Ginja Ninja's Movie Reviews. I'm the Ginja Ninja, although I'm not the Ginja Ninja today. As you can tell, the beard's grey. We're doing a bit of a special Christmas review this time. So this is wrapping up my classic slashers. And if you've been following my channel, you would have known that I've done the Nightmare on Elm Street 3. So I've looked at Freddy Krueger. I've looked at Friday the 13th Part 4, Jason Voorhees. We've looked at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original Tobe Hooper version with Leatherface, and now we're moving on to Black Christmas from 1974. Obviously the killer in this is Billy, and this is a really interesting one because you don't actually see Billy. So for a slasher, quite interesting. Now, this movie came out in 1974. It was directed by Bob Clark. It stars Olivia Hussey, Keir Duella, Margot Kidder, and John Saxon, among others. Okay, so the plot involves it's time for Christmas break, and the sorority sisters make plans for the holidays, but strange anonymous phone calls are beginning to put them on edge. Now, these are obscene phone calls, they're quite crude, and they're quite scary, and that's part of the tension building that this film does really well. Okay. When one of the girls, Claire, disappears, they contact the police, who don't express too much concern. They figure she's run off with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Jess, the main lead actress played by Olivia Hussey, is planning on getting an abortion, but her boyfriend Peter is very much against it, and he kind of is a suspect in this. The police finally begin to get concerned when a 13-year-old girl is found dead in the park. They set up a wiretap at the sorority house, and they try and find out what's going on. So this film's quite interesting, as I had never actually seen this movie. Yes, I know. I've seen the remake and the second remake, but I'd not seen this original. And look, if you want a really good in-depth look at this film, I highly recommend you look at my friend Goraphobe's recent watch-along. Now, I was part of that in the chat there. He's a huge fan of this film. He has multiple copies of this movie on physical media, different versions. He is an absolute, he knows this film back and forth. Okay? Knows heaps of trivia about it as well, and can tell you everything you want to know about it. So I highly recommend you check out Goraphobe. I'll pop his link to his channel down in the description below, so make sure you check him out. Really good guy. So anyway, back to this. I'm probably not going to do this justice, but the movie, what it does well, for one of the original slasher films, it builds a tension really well, and it does that with the fact that you do not really see the killer. You hear his voice through these menacing and obscene phone calls, and those are really filthy, creepy phone calls that would put anyone, on edge. And that's, really well. I think Olivia Hussey does some of those scenes. Personally, I find her acting a little bit over the top in this, in some scenes, particularly with the phone calls. But other than that, she's a really good lead actress in this. Keir Duella is quite good as Peter, the boyfriend, and he does give off that possible killer vibe, so really well. But the highlight of this for me was Margot Kidder as Barb. She's funny as in this, like she really is. There's one scene where she's talking about turtles and how they mate for 3 days. It's funny. She just gets drunker and drunker. The scene with Mrs. Mack and Mr. Harrison, really funny as well. But all of those little injections of humour in this film help break up the tension and keep the film moving on. And that's what's needed. You can have a film which is really all, it is going to be all tense, but having that levity in it just breaks it up a little. Then John Saxon's also in this, and look, I think John Saxon's a great actor. I don't think he gets enough credit. Everything I've seen him in, I've really enjoyed. So there you go. Like I said, I'm not going to do this film justice. One of the things I didn't like, as I said, Olivia Hussey's overacting. Could have lived without it. I did like the fact that we don't see the killer, and the twist at the end. I think this was one of the original The Calls Are Coming From Inside of the House films. Now, I may be mistaken, but that was a really good twist right at the end, bang, and that sends you over the top. That really puts in the fact that you don't know who the character is, who the killer is, you don't know anything about him, there's no motive, there's no method to his madness, it just seems random. It's really, really done well. So, highly recommend if you have not seen this one. Like I said, I've seen it twice in the last week, and before that I hadn't seen it, so that should say something. I recommend you give this a shot, and overall I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good movie. I don't think it keeps up with some of the more recent films, but that being said, it's a product of its time as well. So you got to give that to it. As with a lot of these older slashers, they have a certain feel to them. They build up that tension really well. They don't want to just hook you in with a scare. They want to build up the tension, and this film does that really, really well. So there you have it. That is my classic slashers review, done and dusted, and it was a Christmas themed one. So, Merry Christmas, stick around, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that. I'm probably carrying on a bit now, just trying to wrap this up, but I will be changing the theme a little bit. So next month I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do, and I've only got a week left, so who knows what it'll be. But look, if you've got any ideas, let me know down below. I'm probably going to do a series, a franchise. So I'm going to be looking at a franchise now. I did pop a few question up on my community page a little while ago with some great ideas. Probably going to take one from them, but if you do have anything you want to see me do, let me know down below. Make sure, like I said, like, subscribe, comment, that all helps, and it is really appreciated. So thank you very much. Have a great day. I hope you had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye.